Hi, welcome. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, happy early Halloween. We'll give everybody a few moments to join. Happy to see people joining so quickly already.
This is great. Hello, everyone.
All right, hi. Thank you, Davina. Happy Halloween. I would love to know, while we wait for some friends to join, where are people joining from? You could share your city. I am joining from Berkeley, California right now. What about you, Ime?
I'm also joining from Berkeley, California.
Nice. And I guess more specifically, I'm joining from the Scientific Adventures offices. And Ime?
And I am coming from the Lawrence Hall of Science. I see we got a lot of folks sharing where they're coming from. Some folks from New Mexico, Oakland, El Sobrante. Very cool. Glad to have everyone here.
So many friends from New Mexico. Hello. Okay, we're gonna keep giving people 1 or 2 minutes to join. Somebody from Hercules. Nice, nice. And you will notice that you can see each other's notes in the chat. You can see messages from us. Thanks for asking, Jaylee. Doing good today. Yeah, so use the chat as a place to communicate with each other, to be excited to be together. And in about 1 minute, we will get it started. Ooh, maybe while we wait, it would be a great time for us to post some of the materials for tonight in the chat. We'll give it a moment, and I think those will pop up in the chat soon. I see some familiar names. Hi, Evie. Hi, Courtney.
Yes, happy early Halloween, Antia.
Very nice. Oh, and I see that those materials just got posted in the chat. Maybe you had a chance to collect materials before. If you didn't, a chat just came from Kayla, and there are some materials that you can collect. All right, very nice. Now, we won't keep you all waiting. We'll get started, and I think people will keep coming in. Oh, very nice. I get distracted by the chat a lot because I love to see what you all are saying. So hello, everyone, and welcome to our Strange Science Virtual Family STEAM Night hosted by Scientific Adventures for Girls in partnership with Sandia National Labs and the Lawrence Hall of Science. My name is Mo, and I am the Community Engagement Coordinator. I'm also a lead teacher at Scientific Adventures. I see some of my students in the chat. And Scientific Adventures for Girls is a nonprofit that provides after-school STEM programming to TK through 6th grade kids to increase positive attitudes towards science, technology, engineering, and math. And we also want to increase hands-on learning opportunities and encourage a lifelong learning of STEM subjects. If you like our event series and you want to support our programming, you can go to a link that's going to be in the chat, which is to donate to us. And we'll post the link in the chat throughout the event. So if you feel so inclined, you can click through that.
Awesome. And hello, everyone out there. My name is Ime. I'm one of the educators from the Lawrence Hall of Science. And Lawrence is UC Berkeley's Public Science Center. We have a lot of cool exhibits, some fun camps and classes, and a couple of cool animal friends that you might meet tonight. The Lawrence's mission is to inspire and foster learning of science and math for all, especially those who don't have access to science. And tonight, like Mo said, we're also joined by Sandia National Laboratories. And Sandia provides innovative science-based systems engineering solutions to our nation's most challenging national security problems. And they like to encourage students like you to pursue science, technology, engineering, and math or STEM careers through their K through 12 educational programs. So we're all happy to be here tonight and excited to be joining Scientific Adventures for Girls.
Yes, and the theme for tonight is strange science. Halloween is right around the corner, and we want to focus on mysterious, creepy, and cool science concepts. I learned a wacky, cool fact about giraffes because I'm dressed as one. And I learned that their hearts are up to 2 feet long, which I think would be like this big, maybe. And they can weigh 25 pounds because their bodies are so big and kind of strangely shaped. Enough about my costume. To get started, I'm wondering, what were you thinking of dressing up as for Halloween? If you celebrate Halloween. If you don't celebrate Halloween, what do you like about fall and autumn? You can throw that in the chat now. And while you do that, I want to let you know that the chat is a good place for conversation. But if you have a question about the science that's going on tonight, you can use the Q&A, which is at the bottom. Since this is a webinar, we can't see your faces or hear your voices tonight, but we hope to see you involved in the chat. And we're really excited for that. Remember, we all have tricky internet sometimes. So if your video slows down or gets glitchy, try your best to be patient with it. What's great news is that this event is going to be recorded and it will be on our YouTube in the next couple of days. So you could always go back and rewatch. All right, during this event, we are going to guide you through a few hands-on activities. You'll watch some cool videos and demos. In case you don't have the supplies for tonight, don't worry about it. We'll post the materials list one more time in the chat. And throughout the event, we'll also be asking adults to participate by taking a few poll questions. So the polls help us to know how you feel about our events and who is joining. Yeah, keep your ear out and listen for when those polls are going to happen.
Also, tonight's event is going to end around 6:30, so it'll last about an hour. And at the end of the event, we'll let you know how you can win some very cool raffle prizes. But you need to stick around till the very end to learn how that can happen. So be sure to stick around for the whole hour.
Yes. So before we start the first activity, we're going to launch the first poll. So it is going to come at you in a moment and you'll have about a minute to respond, adults. All right, poll number 1 is coming to your screens right now. Just a few questions for the adults on the screen to answer about what school district your child attends, if this is the first virtual family science night you're coming to, and how many people are watching on your computer. Okay, we'll give you a moment to finish that poll. Oh, Ime, do you have a fall question for us?
Oh, I do. I also saw there are lots of cool Halloween costume ideas, so we can check out.
Yeah, what were some of those?
I saw some folks were thinking like some Harry Potter characters. I heard some Star Wars characters. I saw a couple of like angels and witches. There are a lot of awesome ideas for costumes. And it was cool to see folks sharing in the chat. But as that poll is still going, maybe folks can share what is your favorite drink for fall weather? Here in Berkeley, it was a little rainy today, and I think it would have been the perfect time for a cup of hot cocoa. But what's like one of your favorite drinks for fall weather?
Nice. Hot cocoa. Love that, Jonathan. Ooh, Salma, that sounds really good. Very nice, Helen. Awesome. All right, we will end that poll. Thank you so much for participating. And remember, we have 2 more polls coming up later. Let's get the fun started though. First things, my friends Pinky and Ime are going to introduce a very special guest from the Lawrence Hall of Science.
Yes, thank you, Mo. So yes, we are here at the Lawrence. There's Pinky in our animal discovery zone. we're gonna show you one of our friends that lives there. So Pinky, go ahead and take it away.
Alrighty. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I think I see a couple of my past students in the attendees list, so it's really nice to see you. Hi, Julissa. So hello, everyone. My name is Pinky, and I work at the I work at the Lawrence Hall of Science. I'm usually an educator for our awesome science classes, but for today, I will be your virtual animal wrangler. I have a friend right here on my arm from our animal discovery zone for you all to meet. All right, everybody say hello to Juju. And this is Juju, a very, very sweet snake. And Juju says hi back to all y'all. Juju is a 5-year-old ball python here in our animal discovery zone. Ball pythons get their names from their behavior. You can kind of see it right now on my arm, but they tend to curl up into a ball with their head right in the center. He's kind of ball-like, but not quite right now, or she rather. So they like to curl up into balls when they're hanging out on trees and in the grass. And they oftentimes curl up into a ball when they want to feel a little bit more safe. Ball pythons are super shy animals, and they're very docile snakes. She is a sweetheart, Juju is. She's a very, very sweet snake and will just love to hang out with you. So they're very docile animals. So they generally, they like to hide from predators and like to ball up. Hold on a second. And of course, snakes have minds of their own. So please bear with me as I have to move her around a little bit. She really wants to go up my back. Earlier, she really wanted to go up my sleeve. She likes dark places, so I want to make sure that she doesn't like get all the way up my jacket if that's the case. That's what she wants to do. So they prefer to hide. They're very sweet snakes, very shy snakes. So pythons are a type of venomous, non-venomous snake, which means that if they bite you, their bite can't kill you, but that doesn't mean that they don't have teeth. So they do have teeth, but they are non-venomous. So there's no venom in their teeth that can hurt you, but the teeth will, if you do happen to get bit by a ball python, it will hurt a little bit. They are actually a type of snake called a constrictor. So instead of using venom from their teeth in order to catch their prey, they constrict their animals by using their super strong muscles. She is quite strong on my arm here. She's holding herself up pretty much. I'm not doing anything to hold her up. So they use their super strong muscles to constrict and subdue their prey. And in the wild, they usually eat like small mammals and birds for the most part. So when they are smaller, babier pythons, they eat generally smaller animals, smaller birds, but when they get a little bigger, they can move up to bigger animals like mice and rats. Here in the, oh, she's upside down, look at that. She's very strong and I am the tree and she's just using me as a tree. So we'll let her go where she wants to go. In the animal discovery zone, we usually feed her rats and mice that we buy frozen, and we heat them up and she has a great time gobbling those down. She sometimes does constrict them, but because we buy them frozen, there is no real need. So I'm sure you've noticed, and I'm sure you've seen a snake before, but if you can look at her head, she really likes to flick her tongue out. So in the chat, it looks like y'all have been super active in the chat so far, but in the chat, if you know, write that down. If you don't know, take a guess. What do you think snakes flick their tongues out for like that? Why do you think snakes flick their tongues out?
It's a great question. We'll keep an eye out to see what people are guessing.
Okay.
Araya's saying maybe to breathe. Jalissa says maybe to smell.
Okay.
A couple of folks are thinking smelling or tasting.
Excellent ideas. Oh, because they're scared maybe to breathe. To find their predators. Thank you, Cookie. I like that. To smell or to breathe. To taste the air. I like that. Thank you, friends. To smell the air. Awesome. Oh, to feel. Very interesting, Chloe. Oh, sorry, Maximo. I mistook their name. I think it was their adult's name. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, friends, for your guesses. And it seems like some of you might already might already know the answer to this. So snakes use their tongue. Many people say that snakes use their tongue to smell. That is technically incorrect because they don't have noses like we do. So of course their smelling function is not going to be exactly the same as humans do. So snakes use their tongues to collect chemicals from the air or the ground. The tongue actually does not have receptors. So like in our noses, we have receptors that translate that to our brain being like, this smells like a banana, or this smells really good, this smells really bad. They don't have any receptors on their tongues. They just stick their tongues out and bring in that air really quickly so that those chemicals can get into their mouths. They have an organ at the top of their mouth called the Jacobson organ, and different chemicals evoke different electrical signals, which are then relayed to the brain. And ball pythons are usually found in Western to Central Africa, just north of the equator. They're usually found in grasslands and open forests with like some area of cover. And they can climb trees, but they are not a huge fan of climbing trees. Alrighty, as you can see, Juju is really hitting me with her hardest constrictor move right now. She's all the way around my arm. It doesn't hurt. It feels like a it feels like a very tight squeeze, but it does not hurt. Juju is a very sweet snake, so she would never hurt me. Alrighty, well, those are all the snake facts I have for you. Oh, besides, I have one more snake fact. Today is Reptile Awareness Day. So happy Reptile Awareness Day, friends. So says Juju. And now I would love to take a couple of questions. I will give you the snake info that I have, and if I don't know something, I might tap my friend Ime to answer a couple of questions through Google. And one person asked, I know, like, can we see a spider? We do have a spider here, but to be totally honest, I am not the best with insects, so I prefer to hang out with the reptiles and the mammals. The insects are they're very creepy and very crawly. Somebody asked, how old is Juju? Juju is about 5 years old, which means she's a really young snake. And excellent question, Ruby. I was just about to answer that. They usually live on average 20 to 30 years. There have been some that have lived super long. Like, so there are some that are about 64 years old to 70 years old, but that is very rare. Brady, well, if you live in the Bay Area, Brady asked, can I babysit her? And I wish you were here to hang out with us too. If you live in Berkeley, California, you can come and visit Juju and some of our other animals at the Animal Discovery Zone at the Lawrence Hall of Science. How long is she? That's a really good question. In order to answer this question, I'm gonna have to roll out this snake a little bit, and she's looking at me very cutely upside down. So I believe she's about 4 feet long. Well, let's test Juju's constrictor ability. She's on my arm pretty tight, so I might have to take her off and answer your question once I get off camera, because I don't think I could actually take her off right now just by myself. I think I might have to get someone's help just because she's really all the way around my arm.
She's doing her best constrictor move again. Well, while you work with Juju, I see Jaylee had asked earlier, are there different kinds of species of pythons?
There are.
Yeah. What kind of python is Juju again?
Juju is a ball python.
Nice. And there are many different kinds. I think there's up to 25 known species of python. But Juju, our friend here, is a ball python.
I'm seeing two interesting questions in the chat. What does Juju eat? So Juju actually eats frozen rats. They're quite large. They're actually about this big. They're probably about like 4 inches. So she eats frozen rats, as do most of the snakes in our Animal Discovery Zone. And I think I saw one more. When did we get Juju? We got Juju. Juju was born in 2016. So we got her 4 to 5 years ago. Helen asked, what day is Juju's birthday? Unfortunately, I do not know the exact date that she was born, but she was born in 2016. And some people are saying, that's creepy. I agree. It is strange science after all.
Hey, Pinky, Allison asked, how do snakes get their skin off and get new skin?
Oh, excellent question. Well, snakes, Juju actually went through this very recently. Snakes shed, not super often, usually a couple times a year, but shakes shed. Snakes shed, say that 10 times fast. Snakes shed, and they usually rub up against things. Like in the wild, they rub up against things. Their skin kind of starts to flake off a little bit. You may have seen an entire shedded skin from a snake before. So it starts to flake off a little bit, and they use the trees to really rub up against, almost like a bear scratching their back or something like that. So they really rub up against those trees and get that skin off. And it usually takes about 1 to 2 weeks. Usually when they shed, they are very shy because that's a time when they are very vulnerable because they're dealing with the shed. So they usually try to hide and try to rub up on trees if they're in the wild.
I see so many great questions. I think maybe, Pinky, we could answer 1 or 2 more before we keep going.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
Have we talked about Juju's habitat?
I talked about it briefly, but I would love to talk about it again. Like her, well, actually, her regular habitat here in the Animal Discovery Zone is this box right here. So she gets a nice big box. It's about 3 feet wide, so pretty wide. It doesn't look that big on camera. So it is quite wide. In the wild, I believe they are native to Western to Central Africa. So they really like savanna grassland type areas. So that's their native habitat. So they usually like areas that are pretty open. Some cover is appreciated, and they are often found near open water so that they can cool themselves off during hot weather. Snakes are cold-blooded, so they cannot warm themselves. So usually they rely on the sun, or in Juju's case, people, me, to help warm them up. Alrighty. And I do not know, Chloe, that is a great question. I don't know why her name is Juju, but I might ask the people that named her, and I'll let you know. Alrighty, I think that might be my last question, and I think it might be about time for me to go. So everybody say goodbye, Juju. Juju says goodbye back.
Bye, Juju.
Bye, Juju.
And
thank you, Juju. And thank you, Pinky.
Of course.
Was great seeing y'all both. That was very interesting. Juju, I'm a little creeped out by snakes, but we learned quite a bit. And it's not as scary as I thought he was. He's actually really sweet. So thank you again, Juju and Pinky. And now, folks, it is time for our first hands-on activity of the night. So you can go ahead and grab your STEAM kit if you got one. If not, you can grab the materials that were posted in the chat. And we are going to be doing the optical illusion project. Again, if you don't have a kit, the supply list should be in the chat, or you might have gotten it in an email. You'll need a 4-inch cardboard circle, a couple pieces of string, and some drawing tools. The person leading this activity is an awesome Sandia Laboratory statistician, Josh. So Josh, why don't you take it away?
Thanks so much, Ime. My name's Josh. I'm a statistician at Sandia National Labs, and I used to work in psychology research. So today we're going to talk about optical illusions, and then we're going to make our own. So optical illusions are definitely strange science. They show us how our minds can play tricks on us because our brains are set up to process things that we see in a certain way. When we see something, we perceive what we're seeing through automatic filters in our brain, which doesn't always match up with what's really there. So let's go through some examples of different visual illusions so you can see how these work. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And we'll go into presentation mode. So this is the first one. It's a classic example here. So, you know, if you look at it on the, in one way, you could see a rabbit. If you look at it in another way, you could see a duck. So the rabbit, you can see on the right side, his little nose, and you've got his eye, and then the ears are going off to the left. But if you look at it a different way, you can see the duck. So the duck's bill is the same as the rabbit's ears, and then he's got the eyes, and the back of the duck's head is the same as the front of the rabbit's face. Here's another one kind of like that. So this one is you could see a young lady or an old woman, depending on how you look at the picture. So the young lady, you can see on the left side, if you go down, she's kind of facing away from the camera. And you can kind of see her nose sticking out there, going down to her chin, and she's wearing a necklace. But if you look at it a different way, the necklace could be the opening to the old lady's mouth. And the young lady's ear is the old lady's eye. And the old lady's got the nose and maybe a little wart there on her nose. So again, depending on how you look at the picture, it could be two different things. We've got one more example like this. And so this one, if you look at it, the black part of the picture looks like it could be a vase. But the white part of the picture, you can kind of see two faces. So, which one is it? Depending on how you look at it, your mind can kind of trick you into seeing either one. Another fun example here is everybody can, I assume, see the triangle in the middle of the picture, the white triangle. But the weird part about it is the triangle isn't actually there in the picture. There's no lines really setting forth the triangle, We just have a few circles that look like Pac-Man with a little piece taken out of them and a couple arrows. But we can all see the triangle in the middle of the picture, even though it's not really there. Our brains kind of fill in the rest of the picture for us. Now, here's one. You could put in the chat, which line do you think is longer? Well, it's kind of a trick question because the lines are actually the same length. I know it's kind of hard to see, but if you trace your finger kind of down the screen, you can see that the right end of the line matches up with the lower line, and from the left side of the upper line, tracing down, you can see that edge matches up too. It's kind of a trick that your brain plays on you because these things that look like railroad tracks look like they're getting smaller, and so we see it kind of like it's at a distance, and so the line, even though it's the same length, the yellow line, it actually it just is because our brain tricks us into thinking that the other one's farther away. So that's kind of a fun one. Another one kind of like this is, which dot is bigger? And again, this is kind of a trick question because they're actually the same size. On the left side, our brains are tricked into thinking it's smaller since it's surrounded by bigger objects. But on the right side, it looks bigger because it's surrounded by smaller objects. So again, our brain is playing tricks on us just kind of because it's set up to process things in a certain way. This is another fun one. So the red lines that you see, they look curved, right? But the strange part about it is they're actually straight lines. You might have to take my word for it. You can maybe kind of trace your finger down the image as well, but they are actually straight lines. And again, our brains are just playing tricks on us. Okay, and here's another fun one. What do you see in the picture? It looks just like a lady about to fall off an ice cliff, right? But she's actually just standing on a sidewalk. The people who took this picture drew on that sidewalk in chalk, kind of to make it look like, you're standing over a ledge, But if you look closely, you can see these little black lines that represent the different sidewalk tiles. And if you look kind of behind her in the background, you can see that there's, kind of people walking around on this sidewalk, and it actually looks like it's kind of by a beach. So kind of how this works, you can see this one's maybe a little bit easier to see because we can see the sidewalks a lot closer, and we can tell a lot more easily that it's not a waterfall because we don't see the water actually coming to the waterfall from the river. Again, they just kind of drew a picture on the sidewalk, but it looks like this guy may be just about to fall down the waterfall. Very strange optical illusion. All right, we've got a few more before we jump into making our own. This first one, if you look at it and kind of run your eyes around the image, you may be able to see different black dots showing up. But when you try to look at the black dots, they almost avoid your eyes and jump around the picture a little bit. So if you tried to count how many black dots there are, it's hard to actually do that. But the strange part is there are actually no black dots. All of them are just white dots, but for some reason our brain kind of fills in these different pictures. So it looks like there's black dots. It's a very strange one. Start to see things showing up that aren't really there. This next one is one of my favorites. If you kind of run your eyes around the image, you can start to see some of the circles moving. But again, it's not actually moving at all. It's a stationary picture. But our brains are playing tricks on us. What can we do about it? Hopefully everyone sees the circles move in there. It's kind of a fun one. Our final example is we have this picture here of some dots. And again, if you kind of look at it and look around it, you can probably see it's starting to ripple a little bit. It looks like it's kind of like waving through, like maybe I'm playing like a little video or something. But once again, it's just a stationary picture. You can't, your eyes are kind of filling in this motion that you see in these dots. And it's kind of a funny way to trick your brain. So hopefully you enjoyed these examples of different optical illusions. And now we're gonna go ahead and, one thing to note is there's tons of these online, and you can, there we go. Sorry about that. There's tons of these online, and so you can look up a lot more examples as well if you're interested in learning more about how these work. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into making our own optical illusion. So we're gonna make what's called a thaumatrope. This illusion is based on what's called persistence of vision. Our brains combine multiple still pictures into a single picture whenever the pictures are moving quickly back and forth. The same kind of concept is how movies work. So every second of a movie is not a continuous video, but actually each second is just 30 pictures shown one right after the other very quickly. All right, so let's get started. So you should have your, as Ime mentioned, your cardboard circle here with the holes in it. And we've got our 2 pieces of string. And for this one, I have a marker, so it will show up better on for you guys on the video. But feel free to use a pencil, just in case you want to kind of change your drawing, before you kind of really color it in and set it in there. And
Josh, one quick reminder for our students and scientists at home. If you don't have the materials, that's okay. You can watch along and maybe you can make it another time. Also, Josh is an expert at making these. So he might move faster than you do, and that's okay. He's gonna show us how we make one. And because being an artist and like drawing takes some time, be patient with yourself. You can keep working on it, of course, after the event. Okay, go for it, Josh.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for those great reminders there, Mo. Okay, so before we start drawing, we're going to go ahead and set it up to be ready once your picture is done. So then you can take all the time you want drawing to finish it. So first, you want to take one of your strings, and we're going to fold it in half. Kind of match up your 2 ends here at the bottom. And so then we have this loop here at the top. on your string. And so then we can take that string with that looped side, and we're going to put it through one of the holes in our cardboard circle here. Sometimes you have to get really close to the end to squeeze it so it fits through. And so then now you've got your loop here on this one side, and we can take the rest of the string and feed it through the middle of that loop. And then we can go ahead and pull that nice and tight. So it's stuck on there. And then you're ready to go on that side. So then for our next side, we'll do the same thing. So we'll go ahead and take our string, fold it in half, matching up these edges about at the bottom. And then we'll take that top looped side here, and we'll go through the other hole. And once you got it there, you can go ahead and feed the rest of your string through that loop. And once again, we want to pull it nice and tight. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and draw our picture to make our thaumatrope. So the picture I'm going to draw is going to be a jack-o'-lantern. So I'm going to draw a pumpkin on one side and the face of the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern, on the other side. You can draw whatever kind of picture you want, and you'll kind of see after I draw this, you know, that how they're going to blend together.
And remember, Josh is going to show us, but take your time. We're just putting those strings through your holes. He's going to show us how it works, and you'll have tons of time to keep working on yours. Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to have a nice intermission that'll give you plenty of time to work on drawing your pictures. All right. So first I'll start on one side, and I'm going to draw a little pumpkin here. I'm not a very good drawer, not an artist, but we'll get the main idea. It's okay. You don't have to be a good artist to make a cool thaumatrope. Thanks, Mo. I appreciate that. Okay, so I've drawn maybe the ugliest pumpkin you've ever seen in your life, but it's gonna work great for this. So what you wanna do is once you have your picture on one side, I wanna make sure that the jack-o'-lantern's face is facing up whenever we blend the two pictures together when we spin this. So what I wanna do is you're gonna flip it over, and then this will be the upward direction. So we've got the pumpkin on this side. We want the jack-o'-lantern eyes to be up here and mouth to be here. So we'll flip it over, and I'm going to draw the eyes up here and the mouth down here. All right, so draw his little triangle eyes and draw a silly looking grin here for our little jack-o'-lantern. All right, so now I have my little jack-o'-lantern face, and we're done with the thaumatrope. And so we've already got our strings attached. We've got our pictures on both sides. And so now it's time to see it in action. And so what you want to do is you can pull the strings nice and tight, kind of holding them. So I'm holding them with my other fingers back here. And then you can take your thumb and index finger and spin it back and forth. And when I spin it quickly, you can see the jack-o'-lantern's face on the pumpkin. Wow, it looks so good, Josh. So those of you who are working on it at home, and if you don't have materials, maybe you'll do it later. I love to start with pencil when I'm making these, because then if I feel like I mess up, I can just erase and try again. And when it's done, then you can color it, you can add marker and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Like if I had done it in pencil, you see how the jack-o'-lantern's face maybe is down kind of towards the bottom, and I could move it up. I could kind of move it around until I get it where I want it. And so pencil is absolutely a great way to start. Yeah, so now we've made our own optical illusion. I hope everyone really enjoyed this strange science and has a lot of fun as you start making your thaumatropes. And I'm gonna go ahead and send it back to Ime.
That was very cool. Thank you, Josh. And again, like Mo was saying, if you didn't get a chance to have the materials, or if it went a little bit fast, it's okay. This webinar is going to be on Scientific Adventures for Girls YouTube page in a couple of days from now. So you might be able to go back and watch again and make another thaumatrope. But I wonder how folks' thaumatropes are looking at home. Maybe folks had different ideas than jack-o'-lantern, and maybe some folks drew some lumpy pumpkins like Josh. Everyone's been working really hard. We've been asking lots of good questions, doing some good work. So I'm gonna pass it over to Mo. He's gonna share a little intermission video for us.
Thank you, Ime. All right, so right now we have an opportunity for a little kind of movement break. We'll show about a 3 to 4 minute video. Somebody mentioned Paco the chinchilla in the chat earlier, and in this video you get to see Paco from the Lawrence Hall of Science. So while we play this video, the next poll will come up for you adults. In fact, I'll post it right now. Poll number 2 is coming out to you right now, right there. And while you fill that out, I will start playing this video. Please, while you get to watch this video, be sure to stretch your arms, stand up and move your body. And then when we get back, we have some chemistry to do together. All right, I'm gonna share this video with you right now. Okay, here it comes. All right, thank you for watching, everybody. Just like you saw, that was from the Lawrence Hall of Science, and they are reopening on Halloween weekend, October 30th, so maybe you'll get to see some of those animals there. Here you go. All right, so let us get into the next bit of our event. So for this next part, we have one quick video, and we will go ahead and watch that video, and then we'll do chemistry together. So we have an awesome chemistry video from Josie, who is an electrochemist from Sandia National Labs. Josie's work is focused on making batteries work better for electric vehicles. Josie's going to give us some chemistry background in her video, and when she's done, we'll come back together and you'll do some chemistry with me. So here we go. I'm going to present one more video. Let me just share this screen. Okay, here we go.
Hi everyone, today we're going to do some more strange science. We're going to use electrochemical energy stored in a battery to split apart water, as well as learn about pH and how acidic different things around your kitchen and house are. And we're basically going to understand that through using cabbage paper indicator to see the different properties of things around your house. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, here is our experimental setup. We have a 9-volt battery with some wires coming off it. They come around and they're coming to our solution right here. And our solution is just made out of cabbage juice with water and some Epsom salt. And then the last part of our experiment are these electrodes, which are just graphite pencil lead. And so we're going to use the energy stored in the battery to cause a chemical change to our solution. So most of our solution is made out of water, which many of you might know is made out of hydrogen and oxygen. We're going to basically use the energy from the battery to pull apart the water into hydrogen and oxygen. So as I start to put the electrode into the solution, we're going to start to see some changes. So the first thing you might notice, especially on the left-hand side, is some bubbling that's coming from the electrode. So as we pull apart the oxygen and hydrogen from the water, we start to release oxygen and hydrogen gas. So on the left-hand side, on this electrode, we are causing a pH change. So we're actually making a more basic solution over here and evolving some hydrogen gas. And then on the right-hand side, which is a little easier to see, we see a change of color of red. So it's becoming more acidic. So acidic is something like lemon juice, something really sour, whereas basic is something kind of more like soap or something you use for cleaning. And also on this right-hand side electrode, it's a little harder to see, but there's also some bubbles coming off, and that we are producing some oxygen gas. And you can kind of see that we've created a local environment around the electrodes that have changed the pH or the acidity of the solution. And so we're able to do that by inputting energy from the battery. So it requires energy to pull apart oxygen and hydrogen that make up water. And so you guys are going to now get to use the same cabbage pH indicator and get to test different things around your kitchen and see, you know, what's acidic, what's basic, and get to kind of do some potion making to find out what solutions in your kitchen are really made out of.
All right, so that was our awesome video from Josie. Now, you may be thinking, that still seems very mysterious. I don't know if I understand. That is normal. Josie is dealing with some expert level chemistry. So we're gonna focus on just one part of what Josie was saying. She was talking about something called pH. And pH is a scale used to tell how acidic or basic a liquid is. And what does that mean? Like Josie said, acidic solutions are sour, like lemon juice. And a lot of foods we love are acidic. Pineapples, tomatoes, citrus fruits. Does anyone remember in Josie's video what color the acidic cabbage water turned? Let's see. This is a hard question. Oh man, you got it. Yes, purpley, pinkish, yeah, red, like a nice magenta color. Exactly. Acids turn the cabbage solution red. Basic solutions are a little different. Like Josie was saying, soap, also bleach or ammonia are basic. So those aren't really things we eat. Basic solutions turn cabbage juice or paper blue, green, even yellow. Okay, we're gonna post a little pH guide in the chat for working with pH paper or cabbage paper or cabbage juice. So some of you might have some homemade cabbage paper. Some might be using cabbage juice, or you're just watching along and you can do it some other time with your family. So liquids that aren't quite acidic and aren't quite basic are actually called neutral, and they're right in the middle. Water, milk, cooking oil, those are all pretty neutral. Okay, today we'll test some solutions to see if they are acidic or basic. And I'll tell you how to do it if you've got cabbage paper or cabbage juice. Okay, so if you have cabbage paper like this, mine came in this little wax paper wrap. It just looks like this, and there are these little strips. They look very light purple, almost like white, but they've got some color to them. If you're using cabbage juice, I recommend that you pour a little bit of cabbage juice into a few different jars. Oh yes, Evie, they do smell bad. Cabbage juice and cabbage paper can get really stinky, so you got to be ready for it. Okay, so I chose some test solutions today. You can choose things from home. I, as a scientist, love to collect data. Data is the information from your experiment. So this is an example of a data table. I'm gonna write down my test substance, the color change that I observe, and whether that means it is acidic, basic, or neutral. So I have some test substances written out and I will show them to you. I love to keep a data table because it makes sure that the learning really sticks in my mind. Okay, so the first thing I want to test, I have cabbage paper and I have something called, oh, some people are smelling the paper. Yeah, cabbage paper stinky. The first thing I'm going to test is something called citric acid. So I'm gonna dip my strip in. And if you're using cabbage juice instead at home, if you have a solution you wanna test, you'll just pour a little bit of it into your cabbage juice. Okay, I have a test strip. So I'm gonna do a quick dip and pull out. Now these take a second to process. So right now, you might not see very much, but oh, I have a paper for this to make it easier to see. It takes time to process. Oh, can you just start to see the change there? It's gonna take a little time to develop that pink color. Yes, Ayana. Exactly, wow, very good. So I'll show you a strip that I dipped in this like 15 minutes ago. You can see way better. We've got that bright magenta pink color. So citric acid, acid is in the name. It is acidic, very pink, exactly. Okay, let's pick the next thing to test. I found some medicine in my medicine cabinet that is called antacid. And I thought, well, there's the word acid again. I've got to test this because I see the word acid. So I think I crushed it up and dissolved it in water. I think that it's going to turn the strip pink or red because it has the word acid in it. So let's see. a cabbage strip. I'll dunk it in. Whoa, okay, I've got to show you what I just saw. Don't worry, I'm bringing it to you soon. Okay, do you see that? What color did it change? Blue. Yeah, so it's called an antacid, but it turned the strip blue, which means that it's basic. And I did some research and I learned something today. So, oh, it's turning such a fun blue. I have to keep showing you. So antacid medicine, let me make sure it doesn't drip on my computer, is something that people take when maybe they've eaten a lot of acidic foods and it gives them a stomach ache. This happens a lot more to grown-ups than it does to young ones, but their stomach will start to feel bad because it's too acidic in there. And they take an antacid tablet, which is a little bit basic. And so when they eat it, that basic medicine and their acidic stomach come together and it makes it a little bit more neutral inside, which is more comfortable for us. New learning. Okay, I'm going to test two more things. I have some dissolved baking soda and some bleach. Now, I did the bleach one ahead of time. Bleach is not a really safe substance to work with, so you can only work with it if an adult is around. And I'm going to show you how mine turned out anyway, so you'll get to see. It's pretty surprising results. Check out what color change we got. Just bright, bright yellow. And that is as basic as it gets. So that's kind of why bleach is an unsafe substance for us, because it's super, super basic. It's harsh. Okay, so we got that yellow color. I'm actually going to show you, I did this one a little earlier. I dissolved baking soda in water. Any predictions for what the color of my pH strip changed to in baking soda? Okay, I see blue from Lauren. Blue from Chloe. Oh, lots of blue. Okay, green, Alexandria. Okay, let's check it out. It's kind of like all of you are right. It's a little bit green, a little bit blue, very basic. Okay, the actual last thing, I dissolved a Jolly Rancher in water because it's almost Halloween. So I dunked this one in. Let's see, I threw out my test strip from earlier, so I'm doing a new one. What do you think this sour green candy will turn my strip? I see a yellow, pink, purple. Well, let's see. Remember, these strips take some time sometimes. So do you see any changes yet? Any changes? Yeah, Priya, I don't really either. Yeah, Clarissa looks a little clear. So it doesn't really change the color of the strip. It's closer to neutral. So if it doesn't change the color of your cabbage, paper, or juice, you're working with more of a neutral solution. Okay, I hope you enjoyed doing a little bit of chemistry with me. Making cabbage juice at home is really easy and it's super fun. So grown-ups who are in the room, buy a head of purple cabbage, blend it up, and you can really have some chemistry fun for, if you're me, hours. So now you know how to use cabbage to be a chemist, and we are almost at the end of our whole event. So let's see, I'll bring Ime back onto your screens. Hi, Ime.
Yes. Hey again, Mo. That was some really cool chemistry. I didn't expect to see all those different colors. But now we are going to get ready to launch our final set of poll questions. So adults, if you could please help with answering for your family, for your household. You'll have a couple minutes to answer them as best you can, and you can submit when you're finished. Mm-hmm. And right after we do our poll, we'll be telling you how to win that raffle prize. So Mo?
Yes, okay. Let me share that poll. Here it comes, poll number 3, final poll. Remember, answer these questions and stick around because you're gonna learn how to win the raffle. Scientific Adventures for Girls is having 8 family STEAM nights this school year. This is the first one, and we're doing it with the support of Sandia National Labs. Your feedback is very helpful because we want to make these events better and more exciting for your family. So thank you for answering the polls. If you want to show support with a donation, that link is also in the chat again. So you can do that. I'll give people a moment to do these polls. I'm going to show you the change in my Jolly Rancher strip while we wait. Do you notice any changes? This is the Jolly Rancher strip. It's so hard to see. Yeah, it looks clear, Evie, I agree. With my eyes, like in this lighting, my lighting is not great. I can see just the tiniest bits of pink color, like so little. So that makes me think that maybe this sour candy is just a little bit acidic. That's what I found so far. I'm gonna wait just a few more moments for the final poll answers. You can see all my colorful test strips. So many colors. Oh, one final thing. If you make cabbage paper at home, super easy to do. You can just do it with like a white coffee filter. I made this giant pH paper circle, and I made some lovely pH art. So can you see, I used some different solutions that were basic. I used a lot of acidic, and I painted with a Q-tip. Super fun. Definitely recommend. Okay, we've got our poll answers. Thank you so much for taking them. And let's see. Oh, I think that means it's raffle time.
I think it's a raffle time, yes. So for those who've attended Family STEAM Nights before, we're doing our raffle a little bit differently. So after the Zoom ends, a new window is going to pop up on your computer screen and ask you a couple questions. You need to know the raffle secret code word to enter. We'll reach out to the raffle prize winners a couple days after to get them their prizes. So are you ready for that code word? Tonight's code word is cabbage, as in the cabbage paper that we just made. So CABBAGE. The code word is cabbage. Write it down because you'll need it in a little bit.
Yeah, like Ime said, that raffle opportunity will pop up after you exit the Zoom in just like 30 seconds. The final thing we want to say is thank you so much for joining us for an evening of strange and spooky science fun. Shout out to the Lawrence Hall of Science and Sandia for collaborating with us. Please check us out on all of our social medias, Instagram, our websites, all that good stuff, and follow along as we keep bringing science into your homes. We hope to see you at the next Family STEAM Night, which will be coming up in November. You can look out for more information about that. And we'll see you guys again next time. Happy Halloween, everybody.
See ya.
Bye, everybody. Great job tonight. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.